So I've been using my whole life. I grew up in Maine as a child. I moved it's down the East Coast, 6 different states. I started over, I have over 20 addresses. Since I've been at McShin, it's like 30, because I moved at 8 different times here, many different houses. But I feel like for me, getting out of my own way and trying it McShin's way was essential in my change. And I still, battle every day with my old self. How am I going to fix 30 years of using in 28 days when I came to intensive? Because I came to the intensive house. So I still try to find ways to challenge myself and just kind of stay out of my own way. But I wanted to see if we could have somebody come up and speak. Does anybody have any type of something on their heart they want to speak on today? I would like to kind of have keep it light but keep it serious. Nobody wants to come up? I know I did have a speaker set up for this morning, but he had a prior obligation. Would you like to come up? You can stand here or pick it up.
How you doing? Yes, sir. Good morning. My name is Sonny Miller. I'm a grateful covenant addict. And it's truly only by the grace of God that I'm alive today. And I need not never forget that. I come up here this morning because I had a rough week. Rough week this week. And you would think after 17 years of being clean, after turning my life and my will over to the care of God as I understand Him, after God delivered me from active addiction, after applying myself, going to school and being ordained as and licensed as a minister of the gospel, you think things would get a little better, you know what I mean? Which they do. But I just want you to know this morning, never let another person's opinion become your reality if it's not to help you and build you up. Don't let no one tear you down. If no one has never told you that they loved you, this morning, this week, or your entire life, if you've been told all your life you're never going to amount to anything, you're too tall, you're too short, you're too fat, you're too skinny, you're not educated enough, you don't know enough. I've been studying since birth, but when I stand before God's people, you see He free my tongue because I'm trying to help somebody while I'm trying to help myself. If you've been told, yeah, shut up, you stutter, you're dumb, you say I'm dumb. You're not cute enough. You just ain't good enough. You're never going to amount to anything. Don't believe that mess. That's a lie straight from hell. Once again, never let another person's opinion of you become your reality if it's not to help you. Because truth be told, everybody's not going to believe the change that's done came about in our lives when we do get on that right path and start going in the right direction. They just cannot accept that. But here's the hit. That's their mess. All right? If you do good, people go talk about us. If we do bad, they're going to talk about us. But you know what we do? We do good anyway, and we let them talk. You see, I could stand here right now and cry like a baby because I'm hurt. See, but the God of my understanding tells me that greater is he that's in me than he that is in the world. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. Not even people's opinion of me. Not even drugs. Not even that lifestyle I was living. Because I know where God has brought me from. I heard him share his story, right? A little bit of story. See, after 17 arrests, 9 felony convictions, 4 trips to prison, multiple years behind bars, hooked on heroin, crack, snorting cocaine, alcohol, womanizing, gambling, running the streets, living that lifestyle. And God has delivered me out of that. Working programs like the McShin and Rubicon. Been to Rubicon 3 times. Because relapse was a part of my recovery, was a part of my story. Took me all my life to come off parole. But change is hard, but it's possible. And for me, it came slowly over a period of time. It wasn't a miracle. It wasn't no spiritual revelation. Bam, God hit me with something all at once. No, it took hard work. It was only until I looked in that mirror and I hated what I had become. And I hated what I had become. A slimy, slippery snake of a dope fiend. In and out prisons all my life. Took from the floor. Greasier than a Mississippi spare rib. I mean greasy. That's greasy. But by the grace of God, you see, he has blessed me to take advantage of programs. And while I was in this, I picked up a book. I even told Josh, my partner, I said, Josh, try to read at least an hour a day or 30 minutes a day. Exercise your mind. Through reading, see, we can go anywhere in the world we want to go. Anywhere. We can learn anything we want. I've learned to exercise my mind and try to better myself and stay away. And I try to stay away from negativity. But I'm going to tell you, my father told me something one time. He said, son, you don't have to go look for trouble. He said, trouble will find you right where you are, especially when you're trying to better yourself. You can wake up in the morning if you in a program and got to go to the bathroom. The devil be waiting right there at the door for you. Try to discourage you. But I'm just telling you to hold on. Give yourself a chance. Hold on. Don't leave 5 minutes before the miracle. Hold on. Because yes, change is possible, but you got to work. Anything in life worth having don't come easy. So I try to run behind this life of recovery like I ran behind them drugs in the street. See, I wasn't a part-time user. I was in the street. I lived in the street. That was my life, in the street. And some of the things that I was doing, I had to be gassed up. Walking around normally, I couldn't do them. They say, we gangsters today. Well, when I came up, we were savages in the street. And I'm not proud of that. But it's a difference between a gangster and a savage. And God has changed that and working steps in this program. But that first step is so important. Just to surrender and stop denying it and realize, sonny, you got a problem. And change you must, boy, or die you will. And I wasn't willing to die. I wanted to live. Now, I'm not just speaking this morning, but like I said, I had a rough week. And I was telling Josh coming over here, I would expect the devil to attack out there in the street. But I'm employed at a church. And that would really hurt. So, Father, what is going on now? What in the world is going on now? And it's only by the grace of God that I can stand here this morning because we're never there. There's no finish line of this thing. Each and every day of my life, I have to work on something. Today is my behavior. Today I work on not reacting to negativity that's coming to me. Today I work on realizing that every statement made towards me does not require a response from me. And that takes work. Because it's hard to have somebody say something to you and hold your tongue. Anybody know what I'm talking about this morning? Can you relate to me? That's a hard lesson to learn. But sometimes silence is golden. Old ancient Chinese proverb said, it is best to be silent and thought of as a fool than to speak and remove all doubt. And I've learned to just sit back and just notice. See, that's one of the most brutal sounds I can hear, a little baby crying. I'm serious, man. That's life. That lets you know God is still working. God is still working. So I've learned to pray. You know, I learned there's power in prayer. See, prayer can do what I can't do, and prayer can go places that I can't go. So I remember when I was a kid, the old folks used to sing a song, Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, let me stand. I didn't understand that back then, what the words of that old gospel hymn, Favorite of the Church, meant. But I understand it this morning. And the Spirit of God do speaks through us, through songs, through hymns, through old favorites of the church. I don't sing this very well, but this is what's on my heart this morning. This is the direction I want God to take in my life this morning, because I'm leaning on him. Because it gets hard sometimes. And I know this. And listen to the words of this old gospel favorite. I don't sing it that well, but listen to it. Precious Lord, take my hand, God lead me on, and let me stand. God, I'm tired. I am weak. God, I'm worn. Fill the storms. God, fill the night. God, lead me on to the light. Take my hand, precious Lord, God, lead me on when my way grows dim. Precious Lord, linger near when my life is almost gone. Hear my cry, God, hear my call. Hold my hand, lest I fall. Take my hand, precious Lord, God, lead me home when the darkness Oh, peace in the night draws near. God, the days have passed and gone. At the river I stand. God, got my feet. Hold my hand. Take my hand. Precious Lord, God, lead me home. You see, I'm the type of dope fiend that I know it's only the power of God can deliver me. I was a die-hard dope fiend. And that old Sunny Red is still bottled in there somewhere. And I want that old nature to completely die. In order for that to happen, I got to rely on God. And I got to work programs like that. That's why I keep coming back in these rooms, because I remember the pain I went through, man. And I'm blessed more than you could ever be blessed. Listen to me. I'm blessed by you sitting there and allowing me to come here and vent and to share and get this poison out of me. Because I don't want to tote this around the rest of the week. I don't want it. Because I want to cut Sonny Red's head off and let him stay where he is, dead. I don't be known as Sonny today or Mr. Sonny, or just known as a friend. But I'm telling you, as long as you're on this path, negativity and people's opinion will try to cause you to fail. Because people would rather see people like you and I fail than to succeed. It's just how the devil works. And I'm realizing I can't change that. But what I can do, I can try to be the best person I is today. I can try to be a better person today than I was yesterday. And that means never subject myself to be under the authority of a substance or somebody else's negativity. And that's me. That's what I got to do for myself. Can't nobody else do that for me. I refuse to give somebody ammunition to look down on me again in life. I refuse that. I refuse to go to the little crack boy, cook him up boy, and all my integrity gone. All my confidence gone. All my self-respect gone. Because I want a dime rock. Run to the store. Oh, I'll be right back. That's not going to happen no more. If I stay focused. Because never say never. Who know in here you should never say never? Because all things are possible under the sun. Ain't nothing new under the sun. It's when I think I'm there, it's when I have failed. But if I keep reaching, see, the farther I reach, the higher I'm going to fly. The higher I'm going to fly. But I'm going to need help on the way. I'm going to need the brothers. We can do together what we can't do apart. This is a fellowship. And I'm not going to stay here and ramble along, but I want you to know, I feel your pain. I done sat in them seats, and I still sit in them seats. Fight for what you want. Never let another person's opinion become your reality if it's not trying to help you. Because, truth be told, how can they get the plank, the little splint out of your eye when they got a big log in their eye? You got to clean your own backyard up before you can jump the fence and come over here and try to clean my backyard up, because you really don't know me, right? I'm smiling in your face because I'm trying to be polite and trying to act like a civilized human being, but why are you trying to bring that old Sunny Red back up? You really don't know. So what we do, we hold on to the good things. And we look at them and say, there is a God. Because I can think of a time where I might would have split your head to the white. But it ain't like it today. So I want y'all to just hold on to something. Just give yourself a chance and know that God loves you. Take advantage of this program. Look, take advantage of the resources of this program that can benefit you. If they can help you find a job, guess what? Take it. Even if they can help you get some food stamps or get some type of assistance while you're going through this journey, this valley, because you're not going to stay in this valley. You're moving through. You're not. This is just a springboard. You're about to take flight. You're about to take flight. So God bless you. May heaven always smile upon you. My name is Sonny. Thank you for allowing me to share.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Can we get another round of applause for Mr. Sonny? That was powerful. My name is Young Indus. I'm a junkie. I make the devil sell his soul to me. Since I got sober, feeling jealous of the older me. I've been a rebel, so my self-will and control of me. I will get better, you can bet that, but I'm holding grief. My girl, my brother, and my St. Bernard been buried deep. October in my Benz, the only closure that I've ever seen. Cold up in my head, I overthink and feel about everything. Know I'll end up dead if I don't slow down, yet the pedal sinks. Opiates leaving my system, it's got me sweating. I let it bleed with this pen, so it's spilling red ink. I shed a tear about the past, but I won't regret it. I really need your compassion, but don't expect shit. My demons want me to crash, had to take an exit, and it's tough. Leaving them in the dust, been a real endeavor for a decade. I've been reaching for drugs and deal with the headache. Had enough, had to grow the fuck up and deal with them head on. Collision course with myself, don't know who to bet on. Thank you for letting me share.
Who is that? Oh, nice. All right, all right. I just want to reiterate the desperation piece. Like, don't forget what brought you here. Let's not forget what brought us to McShin. Staying in touch with that pain. We have, how much time do we have left? Half hour. Okay. All right, so, yeah, this was kind of thrown on me, so I do apologize, but I would like to bring up Rich, if you'd like to come up and share, because I know Rich has a little piece about God.
Yeah, so today, right there on that sign, I try to walk that every day. Love is the key, man, And I'm telling you, that brother man, that was an awesome story, brother. I'm here to tell you, man, God is good every day, right? I know only by the grace of God, right, that I am where I am today, me and my wife. I'm so grateful. Can't tell you. I wish I could show you in my heart. I wish you could see right into my heart and you would know how grateful I am. God is good, man, today. I mean, I went up to the park the other day and a couple of y'all came up there. I seen you all right. I went up there early in the morning, to get alone with the Lord. That's my little spot that I go to. And when I got up there, a brother that I go to church with called me, right? And he was talking to me, but there was a young cat there, right? And a little green Subaru. And he had dreads in his hair, you know. And he got out of his car, right? And he walked down, and he had a bag in his hand, right? He had a bag in his hand. He had some breakfast. And he started throwing some tater tots, right? And all the geese come up, right? And they started to surround me, right? I'm telling you, man, like 60 geese all surrounding me, right? Geese are vicious. They're very vicious, you know. And I you know, what came to me at that moment, be still and know that I am the Lord. Man, listen, them geese, they didn't bother me one bit, right? So I get up there and I start worshiping God with some music, right? And this brother turns on his rap music, right? And he's blaring it, right? And I'm like, oh, Lord, what's going on, right? So I just kept praising him, you know, worshiping. And he turned his music down, right? A little lower, you know, a little lower. And then finally his music was off. And he sat there and he was listening to the music I was playing on my speaker, you know, and I was just praising God, worshiping, you know. And I'm going to tell you right now, right? All of a sudden my speaker died. I had a full charge on that speaker, right? And it died. And the brother started playing some music, right? Some rap music. And it was DMX, you know. And the song, I've fallen and I can't get up, right? And I knew, you know, I knew right then, right, that brother, right, you know, we were from like two different worlds, right? But I knew that we had made that connection, you know, that, you know, that's what it's all about. You know, you go out to the world and you got to meet all kinds of walks of life, huh? But like that brother said, don't let negativity stand in your way. Always walk in love. Always. You know, walk in love. Because you know what? My Lord, huh? He said, it is finished. Huh? It is finished, he said, huh? Absolutely. You know, and I know that to be true. You know, I know for a fact, you know, no weapon will prevail against us, huh? That's right. You know, the full armor of God, right? We put on the helmet of salvation, the breastplate of righteousness, huh? The belt of truth. We ready our feet to bring the good news of gospel, huh? The shield of faith, and the double-edged sword, huh? Which is the word of God. Huh? And I'll tell you right now, man, you know, when you walk with God, you can't lose. You can't lose. You know, and the devil gonna try to come your way, but you know what? Stomp on his head. Because my word tells me, right, you'll strike my heel, but I'll crush his head. All right? For real. You know, and that's how I walk today. I walk, and you know, I walk with God every day. You know, I tell you, this brother right here, he can tell you, man. You know, I've come a long way since I've come here. Me and my wife, we were addicts, man. Like that brother just said right there. Listen, we sold drugs. We both, you know, we OD'd. My wife was dead for 4 days on life support. I begged God, please don't take her. Don't take my wife from me, you know. And he didn't, you know. And I'm going to tell you, 4 years ago, I wrote a letter to God. And I told God all in that letter that I was trusting with my marriage. I was going to trust him with my marriage. 4 years ago, I told my wife, do not open that letter until I come home. Because she got out of prison. She got out like a year and a half before I did. You know, and when I got out, we read that letter together. You know, and I'm telling you right now, right, when you trust God, you know, you got to trust him faithfully and know that he is who he is, right? And I know, right, my wife left me when we were in Maine. She went to Augusta, Maine. She was gone. I prayed every night. Lord, please bring my wife back. Please. You know, help us, Lord. help us with the situation we're in now. You know? And, you know, she walked through that door. She walked through that door and she said, can I come back? And I threw my arms around her. Of course you come back. Anytime. Right? So now, she come back. Listen, I always have to guard, you know, and today, you know, we had to go through a couple of overdoses, right? I tell you, when you walk with the devil, listen, he's gonna try to take your life. He's gonna try to take your life, for real. He'll take your life, you know. But the thing is, right? I turn around and I flip that script on him. You know, my wife, she called a couple that came here that we know that were married that came to this program 5 years ago, and they're sober today. 5 years sober today, right? They came to Maine. My wife called her. Whether you know, that's definitely God, you know, and they helped us to get to the police station, you know, which Project Hope, which and enabled us to come here to McShin, you know. And I'm gonna tell you, man, my life, our life, you know, this is where God has brought me today. When I trust God, you know, I trust Him all through my addiction, and that, you know, it's crazy to say that, but I did, you know. And the thing is, I'm here today to tell you, right? Just keep pushing on, man. Walk in love, brothers and sisters. Walk in love.
Appreciate you, Rich. We do have a speaker coming up here, and I just want to mention, for one, I've been clean almost 22, it's going to be clean 2 years on the 22nd, right? So, I'm telling you, if I can do it, you all can do it. Just one thing that helps me is not letting anything get me out of character now, right? Anything that takes me out of character, too high, too low, I'm mindful of that now. I can choose how I respond to situations. But I want to bring up our final speaker here. This is Jodal. Jodal, come on up, man. Share your story.
Good morning, McShin family. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How everybody doing today? Everybody doing all right? Y'all doing all right, ladies? Before I get started, I'm going to do a quick moment of silence followed by the serenity prayer before I even get started, all right? Everybody mind, moment of silence. You can close your eyes, pray for whatever you want to pray. You don't have to pray. You can meditate. You can do whatever you want to do. Just close your eyes for a brief moment for me if you don't mind. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference just for the day. Good morning again. Good morning to everybody. It's 4th of July weekend. It's going to be a good weekend, good weekday. 4th is on the Tuesday. Is it Tuesday? Tuesday, okay. I had a great time with you guys yesterday. That was cool. That's kind of what I picked my topic from. We had a cookout yesterday, and the topic was freedom. Great topic, great topic. How many in here today feel good and blessed to be free? Free from active addiction. How many feel good to be free? It's a good feeling, ain't it? Give yourself a round of applause. It's a good feeling. Not to be chasing another something, right? Very good feeling. All right, so I'm gonna read something out. Oh, there's a story behind this too, right here. This is something I got when I first got clean. It's part of my story, and I still have it today, and I still utilize it. I read out it daily. But someone gave this to me when I first got clean, and this thing has been with me on my journey ever since. I travel with it. It stays on my dresser. I'm always in it. So, and this goes right along with what we were doing yesterday when we was at the picnic, y'all. We were talking about freedom, and we shared, each one of us or some of us shared on how we felt about freedom. So it says right here, this is in Corinthians. It says, for he who was a slave when he was called by the Lord is the Lord's freed man. Similar, he who was a free man when he was called is Christ's slave. You were bought at a price. Do not become a slave of men. Brothers, each man, as responsible to God, should remain in the situation God called him into. That's powerful. That's powerful. My story is very similar to that. God freed me. I started out with a lot of peer pressure, trying to fit in. That's my story. Peer pressure, wanting to be something that I didn't want to be, hanging around the wrong crowds, and all that good stuff. So I'm going to start with my story, how it was, what happened, and what it's like today, as quickly as I possibly can, because I don't have much time. So I was probably about 13 or 14, 15 years old when I started hanging around some guys in my neighborhood. I grew up here in Richmond, Virginia, in Gilpin Court. And I hung around probably some of the roughest of the rough guys in the neighborhood. The reason being is I wanted to feel like I fit in. I wanted to be accepted. I wanted to hang out with the guys. I wanted to do what they did. That came with a price, though. That came with a price. Those guys were doing some of the stuff that we tend to think is normal, but it's the abnormal that's become normal. So I give you an example. At 14 and 15 years old, who does something in the neighborhood, run from the police, jump fences, hide underneath cars, and all that crazy stuff, and then come back to the same corner an hour later and laugh and joke because you got away from the police? Is that crazy? That's absolutely nuts. But that's how my life started off, because we would do little stuff like go steal bicycles from BCU, go down to the 7-Eleven, steal all the stuff, or the candy and all that stuff. We did all that little crazy stuff when we were young, 14 and 15. But it actually started to escalate. So by the time I got to about 17 or 18, the things that my friends were doing were a little different then. They started selling drugs. My blessing was I played basketball. I was a basketball player, and I was very good at basketball. So I had one foot in the basketball in school, the other foot in hanging with my friends. Tough choice to make. Really good basketball player, but I really like fitting in. I like hanging out with the guys. By now, 17 to 18, they're doing stuff that I really don't like doing, but I'm doing it anyway. Selling drugs, hanging out with the girls, going to the clubs, and all that good stuff. It all seemed appealing at the time. But people started going to jail. People started getting locked up. And that part of it wasn't for me. Mind you, I wasn't really crazy about selling drugs anyway. You know, that wasn't really my thing. I really wasn't feeling that part of it. So my blessing was I actually maintained enough sense in my head to go off to college. So I left the streets behind. You know, my friends, they were still selling the drugs. They were still doing their thing. I went off to college, played a little basketball in college. But didn't have enough sense to do the whole deal as far as maturing and going to college, living the college life. I would come home on the weekends and hang out with my buddies, you know, sell drugs and do what they were doing, and, you know, the whole 9 yards. Eventually, because of my behavior and what I was doing hanging out with them, I just quit school. I quit college. I don't know why. I went for a whole year, played basketball, went both semesters, came back that summer, and just stopped going to school. I couldn't tell you to this day why I quit school. One of the dumbest decisions I ever made in my life. So, now that I'm not playing basketball, nobody can figure out I'm not playing basketball. They just think I'm at home for the summer, I'm having a great time, I'm doing what they're doing, which is the street stuff. But like I said, things start to escalate. People start to go to jail, and then also people started dying. Richmond, Virginia, 1987, 1988, it was the murder capital of the world. I don't know if you guys recall, but back in the 80s, we had one of the worst murder rates in the city of Richmond, Virginia. So I was still smart enough, even though I didn't go back to school, I was smart enough to play summer basketball in the summer leagues during the summertime. So what happened was, I'm playing basketball, and I don't go back to school. Somebody noticed that I didn't go back to school. And they said to me one day, that's like, hey, dude, what's up with the school thing? You're very talented. Do you want to be a little thug? Do you want to be a little gangster? Or do you want to play basketball in college? You want to go to college? And I was like, man, bump college, man. I'm good. You know, a couple of $1,000s in your pocket, a Cadillac will make you think you're rich at 18, 19 years old. You know what I'm saying? That's some distorted thinking. That's called a delusion. That's what recovery calls a delusion. You think you got a few $1,000s in your pocket, and you riding around the Cadillac and got a couple of gold chains on, and you got a few girls out. You think you're the man. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, what do I need college for? But guess what happened? Things started to get worse. People started dying. So one night, me and my buddies, we was in one of our spots in Gilpin Court in the projects. And the guy had asked me probably about a month ago. He's a real good guy, coached summer basketball, reputable person, knew a lot of contacts, knew a lot of coaches, so he had a lot of ways of getting people out of the neighborhood and getting them to places they need to be. One night we hanging in the neighborhood, and all I heard was, pow, 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 da, 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 da. We come out the house, and there it was, dead body right in front of me. You know what I did, right? I got on the phone. Hey, you know that college you was talking about? Are they still accepting people? Is it possible I can still go to college? Probably one of the wisest things I ever did. So, I got out of this environment again. I shipped myself all the way from Richmond, Virginia to Kentucky to college. But guess what I did when I went to Kentucky? Guess what I did? Guess what I did? I took me with me. I took me with me. And all those behaviors that I was practicing in Gilpin Court, the drinking, the getting high, I took that all the way to Kentucky with me. So by the time I got to Kentucky, the people were like 17 and 18 years old that was in college. They were only like 17, 18 years old. And I'm like probably 20 years old because I done been out of college, been to college for a year, out for a summer, and I'm going on 20 years old. So I'm a little bit advanced, a little bit ahead of them. So when I get to college, they don't understand me. They don't understand the fact that every chance I get, I want to go to the liquor store, I want to drink, I'm not going to class, I'm doing everything but being a college student. Everything but it. They're like, damn, this guy is crazy as hell. He's a wild dude. And I thought I was having fun. But guess what I did? I ruined another basketball scholarship, the second one. Full ride. First one was a full ride, second one was a full ride. So I go back to Virginia, all the way back to Virginia where I started again. This time, they call it, in recovery, guilt, shame, and remorse. Because I couldn't hide it no more. I had screwed up 2 basketball scholarships. I was running around my projects. It went from drinking and using lightweight substances to drinking and now using hardcore substances. And let me tell y'all something. At one point in my projects, I was like a god. I'm talking about people looked up to me. I was like God. Me and my younger brother, we both played basketball. We both was probably 2 of the best players in the city of Richmond when we played. And people really looked up to us. I got out of them projects. I got to college twice. But when I got back this second time, people started to figure it out. Like, why are you still here? What's going on with you? My addiction that took off. By then, I'm smoking crack. I'm smoking crack now. You know, I went from the basketball player / drug dealer to a crack addict. I'm smoking crack. I don't know what made me try it, the temptation. You know, obviously a lot of us don't know why we tried it, but it was a temptation of me selling it for the time I was selling it and people challenging me. And it was on a dare. Somebody dared me because I've been selling it to them for a while. Man, won't you try this one time? Well, nah, man, I'm not trying that. Why would I do such a thing? That's crazy. I'm selling it to you. I'm not trying that crap. You look crazy when you do that. I don't like the way you look. You look real weird after you smoke that. I don't want that. I like money in my Cadillac outside. I like keep coming and get your money. So anyway, long story short, guilt, shame, and remorse. I couldn't take it. I was running through my projects, ducking my family, ducking my brothers. Everybody's looking for me. Everybody's like, what's going on with this dude? He played basketball. He's not supposed to be in these streets. He's supposed to be somewhere playing basketball. So what I did was I took the easier, softer way. I went back to Kentucky. I hauled tail back to Kentucky. Now, mind you, I told you everything I did in the beginning was peer pressure. Never really wanted to be a drug dealer, just wanted to fit in. Never really wanted to sell the dope. I just wanted to get the perks of what I was doing. Just wanted the girls, wanted to look good. But when I went back to Kentucky, my whole entire life changed. Freedom no longer was there. I'm talking about shackled. When I tell you shackled, I mean shackled. I linked up with two guys from Detroit when I moved back to Kentucky. And they treated me like I was their slave. I'm talking about a 6'5" dude, 250 pounds, always in my life, with all the respect of my peers from Richmond, Virginia. They had no clue. And it was all because of crack. They were good friends, but it was about the dope. So when I started hanging out with them, I was a mule. I was running back and forth to Detroit, doing whatever they told me to do, staying up to 3 and 4 and 5 o'clock in the morning to sell drugs. That was actually to support my drug habit, but it was more actually because that's how they ran their business. I ran with them two guys for almost 15 or 20 years, and they burnt me out. And I'm talking about I had no say-so in nothing. And I'm talking about I was in the grip. It was bad. And I'm talking really bad. So by the time I got to probably about 28, 29, the best thing that ever happened to me and the worst thing that ever happened to me happened in my life. The best thing that ever happened to me, my son was born. My son was born. Worst thing that ever happened to me, my son was born and his daddy was on crack. His daddy was on crack. Then I had another miracle that happened to me. Second best thing that happened to me. Worst best thing that happened to me. A year later, my daughter was born. Second worst thing, my daughter was born and I was on crack. I was a slave to the dope. I was a slave to them Detroit guys. I was a slave to the streets. I was really living a life that I never, ever, ever wanted a part of. I didn't want to tote pistols. I didn't want to be in big drug deals where people that kill people. I hated going up the road to the hotel, staying in hotels all night, calling my baby mama saying, if I don't make it back, you know what to do. She on the other end crying. Why can't you just stop fooling with them? She doesn't understand what the disease of addiction was. She doesn't understand. I was willing to risk my life and go to federal penitentiary to bring their dope up and down the highway just so I can get back to Lexington, Kentucky, and smoke my crack in the back room. That's what my life had amounted to. It was pretty bad. Now let me tell you something. The God of my understanding, He's a powerful God. I will never forget the day that it happened. My friend went on a weekend getaway with his girlfriend to a Valentine's Day thing. That's usually my time where I take a rest break. If he's gone, because the other one had got locked up. He finally got locked up. One of them got locked up, and it was just me and the last one. He went on a weekend excursion with his girlfriend. And remember when I told y'all everybody liked me, everybody respected me? I was a loyal friend to everybody I came across. When I was in the streets, I didn't sell no bad dope. I didn't sell no dummies. I'm sure y'all know what dummies is. Y'all know what fake dope is. I didn't do none of that. I didn't beat nobody out their money. But they say this is a progressive disease. It's a progressive disease. And you never know what you're going to do when you're on addiction. When you're on the influences of high-powered substances, such as heroin, crack, fentanyl, all that type of stuff that's got people out here right now killing one another, robbing from each other, and all the other bad stuff that we're doing to each other for a piece of dope. So I say it to say this. When he went away that weekend, he called me. He says, a little bit dope left. I got somebody coming. I want you to serve them. You can have the rest. I've been loyal to them two guys for years. They trust me with everything. And I'm not bragging or boasting, but they were major. And I had access to money and all kinds of stuff. I seen everything. That's part of the reason why I had to do whatever they told me to do, because I had got that deep in hanging with them. But that weekend, my whole life changed. I crossed, they call it in recovery, the imaginary line. I crossed the imaginary line. But let me go back for 1 second real fast. I don't want to omit something because I'm on a time frame. Y'all remember I talked about them kids I had? I'm going to tell you what my addiction did. I'm the dude that took the baby mama to work, took my kids to daycare, and guess what I did? Never went back and got it. I just want to put that out there. That's what the dope did to me too. I want to put that out there. I took the 3- and 2-year-old to daycare, the mama to work, and it's a word called phenomenon craving and another one called mental obsession. That's what happened in my mind. There was a mental obsession that didn't allow me to think about nothing else but getting high once I started thinking about it. And the phenomenon craving was the word, when I put it inside of me, there was no going back to get nobody. Excuse my language, nobody. There was no going back to get nobody. Nobody was getting picked up that day. Only person who was going to get picked up is some more dope. Baby mama used to call me. You got to go get them. Them people are going to lock us up if you keep leaving them at the daycare. They are going to figure it out. They're going to call whatever they call the CPS or whatever they call. They're going to call them on us. I didn't care. So fast forward back to that day. That's part of what the dope did to me. Now, this is the other progression part. When my friend went off for his weekend getaway, I served the girl. We smoked what we had. And guess what I started doing? I started going into the other room, going to get $100 at a time, giving it to her of his money. Good God Almighty. I'd never done that one. I never stole. By now, I'm 20-something years in the game. Almost 30 years in the game. Now, not only am I a drug addict, I'm a thief. I'm stealing. I kept going back to get 100 and give it to her, going back to get another 100, give it to her. She looked at me. She said, I know you be having money, Joe, there, but this ain't your money now. I got to go. You taking Jay's money. I said, you damn right I am. You've been enjoying it too, ain't you? So this is how crazy I am. This is what the disease of addiction does to you. And I'm going to call it stupid man. This is what stupid man do. You know, they call it the 4 hideous horsemen. Guilt, whatever is in the book. When you're scared and nervous and all that. I left the apartment, went around the corner to somebody else's apartment, and started running back to the apartment, getting 100 at a time. Running through 6'5", 260 now, running through the projects like this. Running through the apartment stuff, looking. He's just downtown now. He's just downtown at the hotel. So I'm walking through the apartment looking like this. So the next morning, I asked somebody at the crack house that I was in to take me downtown. I'm going to speed my story up because I know I don't have much more time. I asked somebody to take me downtown. They took me to a church, a Presbyterian church. I went inside the church. This is where this come into play. I went inside the church. Somebody was walking in through the hallways. I walked up to him and I said, I need some help. Can you give me some help? Mind you, I'd have sat on the back steps. It was probably about 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. I'd have sat on the back steps, crying my eyes out, saying to myself, Jay gonna kill me. Not that Jay, but the Jay I took the money from. Jay gonna kill me. What am I gonna do? I can't get high no more. This is it. This is the last straw. And it really was. I sat on the back step. I seen the people coming to the church. This is downtown Lexington. I walk into the church, see some people coming down the hallway. I said, I need some help. They're like, what's wrong with you? What you need? We talking, then don't take this the wrong way. A Presbyterian, all-white church. I'm in there smelling like nothing but pure liquor. Done smoked $1,500 worth of crack. My eyes this big around, and all I'm saying is, I need some help. I need some help. And they looking at me like, what the hell is wrong with you? The dude said, hold on for a second, let me go get somebody. So the young man, he was apprenticeship that weekend with the pastor. He comes out of nowhere and says, let me talk to you. I'll take you to the back. He sits down. I start talking about guns and dope. He said, hold up, you don't need the pastor. Let me come back. You don't need the pastor. Let me get the pastor. So the pastor was just about to go do his service. So they said to me, you're going to have to sit through the service. That's the first time I knew God was working in my life. I sat through the service. All them little old white ladies like, I'm trying to cover my mouth. I know liquor just spewing out. I'm turning my head this way, and they're like, this one looks interesting here. What we gonna do with him? Anyway, after the service was over with, this pastor took me in, let me stay with his brother for 3 days. 2 different families and a young man prayed over me. He took me to his brother's house. I stayed in his brother's house for 3 days. I told him when we met up, after he let me get some rest, the book said we people that usually don't mix. When I had dinner with him for the first time, we had dinner. I'll never forget. It was in a Big Boys restaurant, Shoney's Big Boy. And he told me that he refereed basketball. So he could relate to me right out the bat, and I had no clue. He refereed basketball, so we talked a little bit about sports. But I broke it down to him. I said, look, man, I'm either going to Richmond, Virginia, or another state. I ain't telling him I took my man's money. I said, but you got to get me up out of here. I said, either you can find me a recovery place somewhere else, or I'm going to Richmond, Virginia. He's like, well, we're going to help you out. Real funny story about him, too. When it's finally time for me to go to Louisville to get some help, he asked me, he said, this is how I know God's working again. He got a brand new style. He said, hey, you want to take my keys and go to your children's mom's house and get some clothes or something? You going to give me your car? You sure? You done lost your mind. You going to give me your brand new style. I'm a drug addict, and I just walked off the street in your church. Guess what, y'all? I met a Christian. I met a Christian. How many people can say that a complete stranger was willing to give you their car keys and you just came off the streets into their life? How many people can say that? How many people can say that? So, I'm going to speed up a little bit more. So I go through recovery, never turn back. This is the blessing right here. This is the real blessing. I go through recovery. I get myself together. I'm in a program. I call the pastor one day and I tell him I'm trying to find a car because I'm trying to get to Lexington. My kids are in Lexington. So I'm going to go back and forth to go visit my kids because I'm at the point now, I'm in phase 2, I can get weekend passes. He said, you know, just hold off. I got some people in the congregation that sells cars. We're going to try to get you a good deal, so forth and so on. So a couple of months went by. I was saving more money. He hit me up. He called me. He's like, are you still trying to find you a car? I said, yeah, Pastor. He said, I think I might got a good deal for you. He said, I'll be up this weekend. I said, sure, Pastor. So this whole time, I'm telling all my friends about him, all my black friends, because they all in the, talking this nonsense. I said, man, this white guy is cool as hell. Y'all got to meet him. Y'all think I'm playing. He is a beast. Like, man, I'm out here. You all talking somebody took care of you. You know, in recovery, you don't know believe nothing you say. I'm like, I'm telling y'all, the dude is a blessing. He took care of me ever since I've been clean. So I said, come on, go with me to McDonald's. Come on, go with McDonald's. I want you to meet him. I'm sitting in McDonald's. True story. Sitting in McDonald's. A van comes up and a car comes up. And me and my buddy sitting in McDonald's. We walk outside. The pastor gets out the van, and I forget, a lady gets out the car. He walks up to me and said, here, go see your kids. I said, what are you talking about? He said, that's yours. Gave me my first vehicle in recovery, free of charge. He said, go see your kids. And then, this is what he said to me. He said, come to Lexington this weekend. I'll pay for your tags and your property tax. I said, I have no problem with that. I'll be right down to Lexington if you want to pay for that too. Man, you talking about a blessing. You talking about a blessing. Now I'm going to get into what it's like now that I've been clean and sober. I got the first job right out of recovery. And was on that job for 13 years. Y'all remember them kids I was talking about that I didn't go pick up, treated like crap because I was an addict? That son of mine, he moved into his house this weekend with his girlfriend, 24 years old. And I've been rocking with him ever since I've been clean. Just graduated from college. That's what the God of my understanding has done for me. And I've been able to be every step of the way with him as he went through his process of life, being a father figure to him, guiding him and twisting him in every direction. That daughter I was talking about, 2 years old, she just prayed with me before I came in here. She just prayed with me. And guess what? She's a graduate student right now in Western Kentucky trying to get a degree as a doctor. That's the miracle of recovery. That's what the God of my understanding has done for me. And the moral of my story is I'm free. I'm free to be a father. I'm free to work in this place with you guys and mentor and help you guys out. I don't have to worry about nobody judging me. I don't have to run up and down nobody's highway to get nobody's dope no more. I don't have to worry about smoking no more. I don't have to worry about doing any of that no more. I'm free. Thank God I'm free. Thank you, man. Appreciate you guys.
So guys, let's not let anything get outside of character. You know, this is, don't let anything get us out of character. And, I'll leave us with this. We're going to end now. We got the community meeting coming up. But, if we're looking for that perfect person out there to change our lives, we got to look in the mirror. And just get out of your way. Try McShin's way for a little bit. If my way worked, I wouldn't have come to McShin. I just ask you to get out of your way. Try McShin's way for a while. See what happens. I want to share this hard truth right here. I'll read this real quick, and then we're gonna end it. Okay. People are often unreasonable, illogical, and self-centered. Forgive them anyway. If you're kind, people may accuse you of selfish, ulterior motives. Be kind anyway. If you are successful, you will win some false friends and some true enemies. Succeed anyway. If you are honest and frank, people may cheat you. Be honest and frank anyway. What you spend years building, someone may destroy overnight. Build anyway. If you find serenity and happiness, they may be jealous. Be happy anyway. The good you do today, people will often forget tomorrow. Do good anyway. Give the world the best you have, and it may never be enough. Give the world the best you've got anyway. You see, in the final analysis, it is between you and God. It was never between you and them anyway. Thanks, guys. Mad love.